Welcome, everybody, to another installment of HTBL Baseball. We are going to play the 19th game for each team after we recap what happened in Game 18, which took place on the season timeline of April 25. The year this game, the season is set in is 2020, but don't hold me to it because I know we're in 2021. In the game you saw last here on the HTBL, Big Paulie's World of Sports Sims channel. Also, check out the Facebook group with the same name. It was Baltimore 7-2 over Boston. Rucker over Parnell. Rucker 2-1. Parnell 1-2. Brant 2 for 4, 2 homers, 4 RBIs. He played a tremendous game. I just finished playing this game. The Rays over the Yankees 11-7. Shields did not have a good outing, but he is now 4-0. Wade Hoyt 1-2. Jeter 3 for 5. He hit a leadoff homer, his second of the year. The Blue Jays over the Chicago White Sox 8-2. Key 3-0. Pierce 1-2. Barfield 2 for 4. He hit 2 home runs, doubling his home run total to 4. It was the Indians 11-3 over the Detroit Tigers. Kovaleski over Bridges. Kovaleski 2-1. Bridge the loser 0-4. Flick 3 for 4, 4 homers and a triple. The Astros are coming back after a disastrous start. They defeated the St. Louis Browns 2-1. Mike Scott 1-2, the winner. Howell 2-2, the loser. Wagner picked up the save, his second. The Mets, who we'll be seeing in just a moment, playing Washington. They defeated Philadelphia 8-6. Myers got the win 1-2. Carlton, the loser, 2-1. Hundley 3 for 5, 2 home runs, and he also doubled his home run total from 2 to 4. Drove in 5. It was the Nats, who we'll be seeing in just a moment. They defeated Washington 3-1. Taylor got the win to go to 2-2. Looper 0-1. He was the loser. Ugla 1 for 3 and a home run. The Reds 5-4 over the Braves. Braves continuing to struggle. It was Tony 4-0. Garber 0-2. The game went 10 innings, by the way, and Robinson 2 for 3, a homer, his sixth, and a double. The Pirates over the Expos 8-7. Lever over Wetland. Lever 2-0, Wetland 0-2, Sanguian 3 for 5 and a home run and 2 RBIs. The Royals continue to do well. They win 9-3 over the Twins. Charlie Leibrandt is 3-0. Frank Viola, the loser, 0-2. McRae 3 for 5, 3 RBIs, 3 doubles. The Cardinals and the Brewers battled it out, and it was the Cardinals prevailing 10-6. Haddix over Haas. Haddix 2-1, Haas 1-2. Hornsby 4 for 6, 2 home runs to get to 6 on the year and 5 RBIs. It was Chicago whitewashing the Rockies in Denver 18-6. Rush over Grimes. Rush 1-2, Grimes 2-1. Ryan Sandberg had a big game, 2 for 5, a homer and 2 ribbies. The Angels over the A's 6-3. Weaver 2-0 over Whitney 3-2. Robinson 2 for 4, 2 stolen bases, and yes, that's Jackie Robinson, because I take where the teams now reside. I take their best 40, and I had a draft, a randomly drawn position draft, and it allowed the teams to pick 10 more players. So if you were a Brooklyn Dodger or a Philadelphia A, or let's say a New York Giant, you probably pop up somewhere on somebody else's team. That's how I decided to do it. Next year I might try something a little different on that vein. Seattle over Texas 5-3. It was Moore 2-2, Howe 2-2. Moore was the winner, Howe was the loser. Franco 1 for 2, 3 stolen bases and 2 walks. The Diamondbacks 6-5 over the Padres. Mullane 3-4. There's that name again. And Bennis, the loser, 1-1. Young went 2 for 3, hit his 5th home run, and got 2 RBIs. The Giants and the Dodgers duked it out, and it was the Giants 13-5 winners in L.A. Geralt's got the win. He's 2-0. Messersmith, the loser, 1-3. Willie Mays, say hey, 2 for 3, a homer, his 5th, and 4 RBIs. So we're seeing a lot of divisional play. I think this will be every team's 3rd trip to the team they play here on 26. Like, for instance, Tampa Bay and Boston are playing each other a 3rd time in Boston. So this is a randomly drawn schedule. You play everybody in your division 24 times. You play everybody outside of your division 6 times. So that's 72 in your division, 72 out of your division, and that gets you to 144 games. That's the length of the season. And it'll be Tampa Bay and Boston will be the game I do privately. But for you, fellow viewers and listeners, it's the Nationals and the Mets. I nearly said Senators. Of course, that was the old team that played in Washington. Both these teams struggling out of the gate. The Nats 7-11, the Mets 5-13. I will play as the Mets because they are the home team at Citi Field. And let's just see what we can see here. Continuing to shake up rosters randomly. Just shook up the Atlanta Braves roster. Just try to get the players with the best OPS and the best WHIP gradually into the game. Jerry Koosman's going to start for the Mets in this one.
Pitching for New York, Jerry Koosman.
Clear day, clear night, 58 degrees. Winds are blowing out to right field at 13 miles an hour. And as I said, Koosman is the starter for the Mets. Let's go through the lineups for Washington. Johnny Damon is the DH. He will lead off. Bartell is at a shortstop. He bats second. Duke Snider, yes, he plays for the Washington Nationals in this sim. He is the center fielder. Matthews at third. He bats fourth. LaRoche at first base bats fifth. Hastings Millage, I think that is, in left field bats sixth. Harris is in right batting seventh. Schneider at catcher batting eighth. Espinoza is at second base hitting ninth. The pitcher for Washington will be Matt Kilroy, another 19th century star. Defensively for the Mets, Peyton is in left, a 7 range and a 5 arm. Agee is an 8 and a 4 in center. Strawberry is a 5 and an 8 in right. Johnson is a 4 at third. Reyes is a 6 at shortstop. Ron Hunt is a 5 at second. Ed Cranepool is a 5 at first. Todd Hundley, that's what the Hundley I was thinking of. Randy Hundley was his father, who played for the Mets primarily. A 5 and a 5, so I must have misidentified him when I was going through the Mets score. He's a 5 and a 5 behind the plate. Jerry Koosman is a 7 range at pitcher. So far, he's got a 5.08 ERA, 1-2, 28 in the third innings pitched, 24 hits surrendered, 1 home run, 16 walks, but he has struck out 18, and his opposing batting average 231, which is a little below his average, actually above his average, but his WHIP is above or below, depending on your standpoint, his average. So I'm playing as the Mets. Johnny Damon is an 8 bunter, and slowly but surely I'm learning to bring my corners in when you got a good bunter. And this is grounded to second. Hunt to Cranepool for the first out of the game. So hello, how are you? We're taping this on the late afternoon of July 10th, 2021. And it was on this day that the Rays won 5-2 over the Blue Jays, and Brendan Lau hit 2 home runs. Dick Bartell is your shortstop for Washington. He's hitting 245. I think I forgot to give you Johnny Damon's numbers. He's not doing well. He's hitting 167, so I'll make a mental note to go over his numbers when his next at-bat occurs. Bartell has hit 2 home runs and 9 RBIs, doing a little below what the game would expect him to do. Koosman pitches to Bartell, and Bartell a base hit to right with Strawberry retrieved. So 1 on and 1 out for the Duke Snider, and he's not having a good season. 170, a homer, and 3 RBIs, well off of his averages. Snider hits this to Hunt, who throws to Reyes over the Cranepool for a 4-6-3 double play.
Pitching for Washington, Matt Kilroy.
Let's go over the Mets lineup. Reyes leads off. He is the shortstop. Mazzilli is the DH batting second. Agee is in center batting third. Ron Hunt at second bats fourth. Strawberry is the right fielder batting fifth. Todd Hundley catches bats sixth. Howard Johnson at third bats seventh. Jay Payton is in left field batting eighth. Ed Cranepool is a first baseman batting ninth. And let's go through the lineup defensively for Washington. It's Hastings Millage, a 6 and a 5 in left. Duke Snider, the Lord of Flatbush, an 8 and an 8 in center. Willie Harris is a 5 and a 3 in right. Eddie Matthews an 8 at third base. Dick Bartle is a 7 at short. Espinoza is a 7 at second. Adam LaRoche is a 6 at first. Behind the dish is Brian Schneider, a 7 and a 7. Has a range of 7 as a pitcher. Kilroy so far this year, 334, 2-2 on the season, 35 innings pitched, 27 hits, 5 homers given up, 10 walks, 15 strikeouts, and his whip and his average both above their averages, so that's good. Jose Reyes, 299 on the year, a homer and 10 ribbies. Kilroy will deal to Reyes. Martel over to LaRoche for the first out. That brings up Mazzilli. Mazzilli is a 7-bunter, but the corners are not playing in for him. Hit to center. Snyder moves to his left and makes the putout for the second out. Tommy Agee, 254, a homer and 6 RBIs. Foul. And we'll do it again. The count now advances to 1-2. He strikes out. So we have played an inning. We have no score. Eddie Matthews, the Milwaukee Brave, because the Milwaukee Braves are not considered part of the Atlanta Braves, even though they moved there. He is hitting for Washington. He's not had I wouldn't say he's had a great year so far. 246, 4 homers, and 9 RBIs. But this is the best playing the best. So I think we're going to see some variations off the averages here. Here's the deal from Kuzman. Hit to center. Agee, 1 out. Adam LaRoche, 159 on the year, a homer and 4 RBIs. Not having a good year so far. But that's a base hit, a little duck snort to right, giving LaRoche a base hit and a single, both at the same time. Millage, Lastings Millage, is not having a good year so far at all. 059, he's 1 for 17, and that's it. No homers, no ribbies. Johnson to Hunt to Cranepool. They do not get the double play, but they do get the fielder's choice on a 5-4 play. 2 outs now for the Washington Nationals in the second. Willie Harris is up 250 on the year. 2 RBIs, no homers. Hit right up the middle. Looks like Hunt got it over to Cranepool. And he did. Side retired for the Nats in inning number 2. We've played an inning and a half with no score. Ron Hunt, who was a master of getting hit by a pitch, he's only hitting .094 on the year. A homer, no homers, and 1 RBI. I was looking at the wrong column here. Smoked to Matthews over the first for the first out. Matthews to LaRoche, a 5-3 ground out. Darryl Strawberry, who I once met in 1986 at Al Lang Field in St. Petersburg, gave me the brush off. 167, 1 homer, and 5 RBIs. I won't hold that against him in this game. And he hits it well to right, but Harris catches it at the warning track for out number 2. Todd Hundley, 267 on the year, 4 homers, and 13 RBIs. He struck out. So we've played now 2 innings here at Citi Field in New York. We have no score still. Schneider. Brian Schneider, the catcher, 235, 3 homers and 5 RBIs on the year. Kuzman is at 26 pitches, so he's on a good pace. That's a strikeout. That is strikeout number 1 for Jerry Kuzman. I don't keep the strikeout graphics up anymore because it confuses you when that's the third out of the inning. So I just let teams switch sides, and I find that a little less confusing. If anybody could figure out, watching this who plays Action APC, there is a probability chart in green that should be above the pitcher's stats, and I have forgotten how to turn that on, and I want to turn that on. So if anybody is watching this and can help me out on that, I would thank them very kindly. I'd even give them credit for their help on a future HTBL broadcast. So, Espinoza, as I mentioned that, he is 0 for 8, and he has not driven in anything. Hits it to left. Peyton with the putout. That's out number 2 for the Nats. And we go back to the top of the order and Johnny Damon. Damon is not hitting well, 167 so far this year. No homer and 1 ribby. One of the heroes of the Boston Red Sox when they finally won a World Series in 2004. Hunt the Cranepool 4-3, and the side retired again. Without too much damage done for the Nats in the third, we've played 2.5, no score. Matt Kilroy so far has struck out, has gotten everybody down in order and has 2 Ks. Howard Johnson at third base is your number 7 hitter for the Mets. 250, 2 homers and 9 RBIs. It's hit well to left, but Millage comes over and makes the grab for the first out of the inning. Jay Payton, 304, no homers and a ribby. Kilroy has retired now 7 in a row. That's a strikeout. Let me see here. That is number 2. I beg your pardon. That's number 3 for Kilroy in this game. Kilroy was definitely here. He's making an impact very early in this game. Ed Cranepool, the number 9 hitter for the Mets, 154, a homer and 4 ribbies. Grounded the shortstop, Bartel over to LaRoche, and the side retired again in order for the Mets. We have played 3, no score. Dick Bartle is 1 for 1. He's up for the second time in this game, and that's hit the third. Johnson, a little bit slow on the ground ball, but it got there in time for the first out. 5-3, score that on your score sheet. So Koosman will now work to Duke Snider. I was just reading J.J. Dillon's book again, The Professional Wrestling Manager and Wrestler, and he said Duke Snider was one of his favorite players. Somebody else said that Duke Snider was her favorite player, my mother. She has under her bed, she has a very large photo of the Duke. So Duke is 167, 1 homer, 3 RBIs, and she's hitting 0 for 1. He's hitting 0 for 1, not my mother, Duke Snider. And what happened here, Snider hit a ground ball, and yeah, it was 1-3 on the putout. This is just the animation did not complete. So it was a routine grounder. It got there in time. And with 2 outs in the 4th inning now, game's moving along rather fast. It's Eddie Matthews, who is 0 for 1. Now, there are not too many of these dream leagues that would have Duke Snider and Eddie Matthews hitting on the same team, but that's what I wanted to try to create here. Matthews 0 for 1. Grounded a base hit to right field. Strawberry scooped that up. And Matthews aboard with a single. Not one of the better base runners with that 43% clip. So I'm not really going to pay too much attention to him. We're just going to pitch to LaRoche, who's 1 for 1, and what happened with Cranepool? I think that was an error. Everybody's safe and scored the error to Ed Cranepool. The first error of the game goes to the Mets. Lastings Millage is 0 for 1. Looking to improve on that 0.56 batting average. Reyes just needs to get the force at second. Instead, he goes the first to Cranepool, and that's the side retired for Washington in their 4th. So we've played 3.5, no score. Mets have not gotten a base runner yet, I don't think, but we can double check the score sheet. Yes, that's true. That's true. You see it there. You see it now. Another thing that Ron Juckett does is puts the fielding percentages. I'm going to do that for you all right now. We're just going to change that up. Reyes is 0 for 1 so far today. Hit well to left, but Millage didn't have to move much to get the first out of the inning. It appears that the Mets have gone in order. And that was the 10th out in a row that Kilroy has gotten. William Mazzilli is 0 for 1. Grounder. LaRoche is going to take it himself. And that's 11 in a row. Tommy Agee is 0 for 1. to the shortstop, over to first, and that's the third out of the inning. 12 in a row now for Matt Kilroy. We have played 4, no score. Willie Harris is 0 for 1. Strike 3 call. That is K number 2 for Jerry Kuzman, who was also pitching well in this game. Giving up a few scratch hits, but that's about it. Schneider is 0 for 1. Grounded to the shortstop Reyes over to first to Cranepool for the second out. That brings up Espinoza, and Espinoza is now 0 for 9. He walks. Walk number 1 for Jerry Kuzman. Back to the top of the order in the 5th for Washington and Johnny Damon. Kuzman's at 68 pitches. Doing well, I would think. And that's a base hit to left. Will Espinoza move to third? He will. And now Washington has a 2-out rally. How often do we see this in baseball? Runners at the corners for Dick Bartell, who is 1 for 2. And we'll have a conference on the mound that will end. Here's the pitch. And Washington takes the lead. The single to left. Peyton scoops it up. And there's again runners at the corners. But now Washington holds the 1-0 lead. Duke Snyder is 0 for 2. And that's a foul ball. We'll do it again. Count 1 and 2 to the Duke. Strike 3 called. And that's it for Washington. They pick up a run, but with the way Kilroy is pitching, it might be all they need. 1-0 going to the bottom of the 5th. And here is Ron Hunt again, 0 for 1. Grounder to LaRoche. He will go to the first base bag for the out. That's now 13 in a row for Matt Kilroy. Strawberry is 0 for 1. Up the middle. Great play by Espinoza. He retires LaRoche, a 4-3, a super play from Espinoza, and it's now 14 in a row for Matt Kilroy. Hundley, Todd Hundley is 0 for 1. Bartell, long throw, in time. And it's 15 up and 15 down for Matt Kilroy. Yes, indeed, a perfect game alert would be very appropriate here. So we have now played 5. It is 1-0 in favor of the Nats. I don't believe in no-hitter jinxes, and I don't believe in perfect game jinxes. If that's going on, I'm going to tell you about it. That's kind of my philosophy. So Kuzman will work to Matthews, Eddie Matthews, who is 1 for 2. He takes his base on a walk, and that brings up Adam LaRoche. LaRoche is 1 for 2 on the day. Oh, right back to Kuzman for the first out. Kuzman, good reflexes, even though his fielding percentage is a measly .887. And we'll go to Lastings Millage, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Throw back to first. And Matthews did get back to the bag in time. Count is 1-0. To Johnson, but he flubs it. That's an error. Error to Hojo, the second of the game for the Mets. So Kuzman will now deal to Harris, who is 0 for 2 on the day. Hunt gets Reyes at second. Over the first for a 4-6-3 double play. We have played 5.5. We have a 1-0 game in favor of the Nats. Howard Johnson, the number 7 hitter, he is 0 for 1. There's another strike. Another strikeout for Kilroy. That's number 4 on the game. So now he is at 16 up and 16 down. He just needs 11 more. Long way to go yet, but we're keeping an eye on it. Peyton is 0 for 1. A foul tip, which makes we're going to advance to count the 1 and 2 on Jay Peyton. This has popped up. Can of corn for somebody, and it's Schneider behind the plate with a putout, and now Kilroy has retired 17 in a row. He's got 10 to go. Cranepool is 0 for 1. Up the middle, Bartell to LaRoche, and it's 18 up and 18 down for Kilroy. Matt Kilroy of the Washington Nationals. We have played 6. The perfect game alert is still on, and it's 1-0 in favor of Washington. Schneider is 0 for 2. He hits it to center. Agee will look up at this one and grab it. 1 out. Almost stretch time here at Citi Field in New York, our first trip to New York's other fine ballpark. We use the park factors from the 2020 season. I haven't thought yet about Toronto. They're using the park factors from the Salem Field in Buffalo for this. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. But we use the park factors from 2020 for all teams except Montreal. I used 2000. I just picked that at random for Montreal. And I used the Browns' best season, which was when they went to the World Series in 1944, for their park factors. Espinoza is 0 for 1. Hit the center. Agee, second out of the inning. That's going to bring up Johnny Damon again, 4th time through the lineup for the Nats, and Damon is 1 for 3. He strikes out. Stretch time. If you're not superstitious, turn off this stream for about 5 seconds, because I'm going to tell you right now that through 6 innings, Matt Kilroy has retired 18 betters in a row. This is Big Paulie coming to you with the bottom of the 7th. It's the Nats 1 and the Mets nothing. Jose Reyes is 0 for 2. Corners are in for the Nats. Up the middle, and a base hit, and that ends the no-hit and perfect game bid for Matt Kilroy. First hit of the game for the Mets, and they're only down a run, so you don't know what could happen here. We're going to take and see if we can get Reyes running. Yeah, his batting average goes up to 7. Not his batting average, but his stolen base average goes up to 72. Here's Lee Rosilli, who is 0 for 2. We're going to send Reyes. So how many opportunities we're going to get? And he gets a stolen base. Stolen base number 5 for him on the year. So now a base hit, you're looking at a tie game. Mazzilli is 0 for 2. He strikes out. That is number 5 for Matt Kilroy. Tommy Agee is 0 for 2. One of the heroes of the 69 Mets, but he pops this up, and Schneider cannot get to it. A foul ball. And the count will be 1-2 for this pitch. Grounder to third. Matthews will keep Reyes at second. And he retires Agee for the second out. So now Ron Hunt is up. He is 0 for 2. He hits lefties 288. And do I have any other second baseman? Oh, I do. I have Greg Jeffries, but he's a 3 defensively. Let's see what I have. Yeah, we're going to use Jeffries. We're going to use Jeffries as a pinch hitter here. Jeffries and then Strawberry if Jeffries gets aboard. 2 outs, bottom of the 7th, a 1-0 Washington lead. That's a base hit. Reyes goes home and scores, and we have a tie game. 1-1. Some timely hitting out of Greg Jeffries. And now it's Darryl Strawberry, who is 0 for 2 on the day. He struck out, side retired. But the Mets tie it up. They go from being no-hitted and perfect gamed to getting a tying run here. We have played 7. It is 1-1. 1-5-0 for Washington. 6 runners left on base. 1-2-2 for New York, and one runner left on base. 1 left on base total for the Mets. Kuzman's going to come out and pitch the 8th inning. His EPC is drawing near at 135. He has pitched 113. We're going to keep him in, and let's see, who can we put at second base? I'm going to go with Elgardo Alfonso to replace him the rest of the game. So Kuzman works to Bartel, who is 2 for 3 on the day. Right to Alfonso, he snares it for the first out. That brings up Duke Snyder 0 for 3. And that's a base hit for the Duke. He's on board. So with a runner at first and one out, it's going to be Eddie Matthews. And we're going to play no doubles in the outfield and keep our infield normal. And this is hit a pop fly to second. Alfonso with his second put out of the game. And with 2 outs in the 8th, it's Adam LaRoche for the Nats. And we will again play no doubles. To the shortstop, Reyes. He gets to the force to Alfonso. And Washington is out of their 8th. Played 7.5. It's a 1-1 tie. Bottom of the 8th, it's now Todd Hundley up for the Mets. He hits lefties 247. And we have Stearns as our backup catcher. But we're going to bring in Joel Youngblood to pinch hit. And then bring in Stearns to catch in the 9th. Kilroy is at 85 pitches, so he could go a while still. The pitch to Youngblood. That's a grounder. Kilroy goes over to cover first base as LaRoche was handcuffed, and they get the out, which is the first out of the Mets' 8th. Howard Johnson is 0 for 2. He hits this one well to left, but it's going to stay in the park. Millage with the play, and there's now 2 out in the New York 8th. Jay Payton is 0 for 2. To the shortstop, Bartel, a line drive, and the side is retired. Now, we go to the 9th. It's 1-1. I'm going to look at my bullpen for New York. First, I have to find the catcher. And we just have Stearns. Let's go with him. Put him in at the 6th hole for Youngblood. We'll look at the bullpen for New York. Need to find out who my stopper is for New York, since I do not play them regularly. And that's Myers, Randy Myers. But at home, you can use your stopper, your closer. So we'll go to him when Kuzman is exhausted his pitch count. Millage is 0 for 3. And that's a base hit to left. Check the pitch count on Kuzman. It is 130. Harris is not a great bunter. But I'm going to play my corners in anyway. Bunting situation. And he struck out. So that is strikeout number 5 for Jerry Kuzman. Kuzman's pitch count is 135. We'll let him go for this batter only. It will be his last. Schneider is 0 for 3. It gets away from the catcher Stearns, and Millage is in at second base. With 1 out, we'll see what we got here. We got Schneider at 227. Espinoza has not gotten a hit all year, so we're going to walk Schneider. And they're going to put a pinch runner in. Nair Morgan. He will be the runner at first base, although the smarter thing to do would be to put a pinch runner at second, if you ask me. Randy Myers is going to come in the game in the 9th. And he can go, how many pitches? 75. So at the DH, he might be here a while. Nick Espinoza is 0 for 2, 0 for 10 on the season. And wouldn't you know it, he gets a base hit. Millage holds at third, so the bases are loaded. Johnny Damon can be the hero now. Infield will play in. And Damon is 1 for 4. Popped it up. Might be more than a pop-up. It's a grand slam for Johnny Damon. That just kept going and going and going, and Washington clears the bases and break out the salami in D.C. It's 5-1. Well, look at that again. I thought this was going to be a pop fly, but it just kept going. 378 was the distance there. That one went into the upper stands at Citi Field in right, way above the Modell's sign, Modell's Sporting Goods, and it's 5-1 Nats. They have blown the game open. Still a one-swing game. Bartell is 2 for 4, grounded a third, and this is going to come one out too late, a 5-3 ground out. It brings up Snyder, 1 for 4, the Duke. And this is popped up. Alfonso should get to it. He does. And the side retired finally for the Nats in the ninth. But they pick up 4 and blow the game open. It's 5-1. Cranepool is 0 for 2. Base hit up the middle. Third hit for the Mets today. Jose Reyes back up. He is 1 for 3 today. That's a slow grounder, but it's going to be, yes, a double play. 6-4-3. So it's down to Lee Mazzilli, the DH. And he does not hit well against lefties. 266. And for my last gasp, I'm going to bring in Mookie Wilson. Mookie Wilson on the season, by the way, is 0 for 1. Grounded to the first baseman, LaRoche will happily step on the first base bag, and the Nationals win 5-1. Pretty good game, actually. We had the suspense of a perfect game bid by Matt Kilroy. He wins. Gave up 3 hits. His record goes to 3-2. He only needed 109 pitches. Wasn't exactly a Greg Maddux game, but close to it. Kuzman went 8 1/3. He was the loser, 1-3, but it was Randy Myers who gave up the gopher ball that decided this one. And Johnny Damon, who famously hit a grand slam in Yankee Stadium in the 2004 playoffs, hits one at Citi Field. Or at least in this simulation he did. So it was 5-9-0 for Washington and 1-3-2 for the Mets. Matt Kilroy will get Player of the Game honors. Washington will go to 8-11, and the Mets have a slide story going on at 5-14. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's game. We will be back at some point in the near future, Lord willing, and if the creek does not rise, to bring you another game. We'll probably go to the Mid-East division of the American League. I don't think we have done Toronto yet. For that, we did Detroit. We did Detroit playing Oakland a few games ago, so I think we'll do a Toronto game for you next. This has been Big Paulie, wishing you well. Godspeed and God bless. Enjoy the remainder of your weekend, and bye-bye for now, everybody.